I've been doing Etsy dropshipping and print on demand for almost 5 years. And in that time, I've scaled to multiple 7 figures and got to the point where I'm bringing in tens of thousands of dollars each month in profit. And when I started, I was just a teenager working in a restaurant cooking noodles, willing to do almost anything that wasn't that. And the reason I'm telling you this is because if you had told my teenage self that I would be where I am today, I would have been pretty skeptical. We've all seen the thumbnails. Make $10,000 a month online without having to do anything at all. Like, they always sound way too good to be true. And honestly, I've probably posted my own share of videos that give off that same energy. But as much of a meme as those videos can be, if it wasn't for the hope that those videos gave me, I would have never started my own businesses, and I would have never reached the point where I am, making tens of thousands of dollars a month online in profit. So while I've been able to achieve great results, specifically with print on demand and Etsy dropshipping, for anyone still on the fence, today I want to break down what's possible, what I've been able to do, and what's actually realistic for you to make if you were to start this business in 2024. And I think the best way to understand what's possible is to look at what recent sellers have been able to make, like shops that have opened up within the last 6 months to a year, and what OG super top shops have been able to make so that we can contrast it and see what's realistic. For example, this shop opened up not too long ago, and they're selling apparel with classic print-on-demand designs on them. Now, they've got some really simple text designs that could be made by hand, and they've also got some more complex designs that they've probably bought from a website like Creative Market. Now, they've only made about 10,000 sales, but they opened their shop and got their first review in September of 2023, which was only about 8 months ago. So that means on average, they're making more than 1,000 sales a month, or around maybe 1,200 sales a month. Now, we can't know exactly what their profit is, but we can make educated guesses. For example, this sweatshirt that they're selling costs about $23, and then they're also charging $7 of shipping, which is about $30, and it's going to cost about $20 to get printed and fulfilled through Printify, which means they're left with about $10 of profit per order. But they also have cheaper products like this t-shirt, which they're charging $17.50 for, plus $6 of shipping, and it costs about $13 to fulfill, so again, they'd only be left with about a $10 profit. But either way, with 10,000 sales or about 1,000 sales per month at a roughly $10 profit per order, they're making about $9,000 to $10,000 per month in profit within their first 8 months of being open for business. And this is considered one of the most saturated competitive products out there, and they're already pulling in 10K months. Now, some of you probably think that something like this is still unrealistic results. But the thing is, just today while I was browsing for other shops to talk about, I came across 10 other shops also selling apparel, making at least 1,000 sales per month that have opened within the last 6 months to a year. So while it still is impressive, it's not impossible to reach this kind of goal. Those 10 shops that I found today aren't doing anything too special. They're only shops selling print-on-demand clothing that opened and started making life-changing money all within a year. This is why Etsy dropshipping is the best business model. You can see in real time what's actually working and how many sales these businesses are getting. Now, I'm not showing you this because I want you to think that you're going to be a millionaire tomorrow or that it's going to be super easy. Instead, I just want to show you this because all of this information is public and you can see the numbers for yourselves. Plus, all of my top shops were started over a year ago, so that might feel even more disconnected for some of you watching. You might think that the strategies have changed or that it's too competitive now, but that just isn't the case. Shops selling all kinds of products can do well within their first year. You can look up the shops that I've mentioned on a website like this to see how they're performing and get a more detailed look at the shop stats. But I wanted to look at this shop as well, just for reference in a slightly different niche. Now, this shop sells baby clothes, and these designs, again, are pretty simple and just targeted towards little kids. Now, they started selling, or at least got their first review in October of 2023, which is about 7 months ago, and they already have over 1,600 listings posted. Now, in the last 7 months that they've been open, they've done about 11,000 sales, which is around 1,600 sales per month. Now, if we just take a look at one of these super simple items, we can see that they're selling this t-shirt for around $15, and then they're also charging about $8 for shipping. So that's about $23 in revenue. Now, Printify actually sells a very similar item for about $12 in total, which would leave about $11 in profit. So that means that just with their 11,000 sales, they're averaging over $18,000 a month in profit within their first 7 months. Or even if you took out like 10% for all of the fees and other costs, they're still making maybe $15,000, $16,000 a month in profit within their first 7 months of being open. Now, I'm not going to talk about the thousands of shops that are failures, because we could spend all day talking about the many shops that never make any money, but that doesn't really prove anything. Instead, looking at what's been done in the last year from new shops should give you a better idea of what's possible if you do things right. Now, these shops that we've looked at are not the best of the best, but they have stayed consistent, they've put work in, and they've focused all of their effort on what actually works. And by the way, if this feels cherry-picked, maybe it is a little bit, but it doesn't even include the really crazy, extraordinary shops that are doing 6-figure months within their first year of being open for business. These are some of the more modest results. If they stay consistent long enough, it's possible to grow to a 7 or even 8-figure shop. Now, here's a list of the best-selling shops on Etsy, and you can see that they're all bringing in several thousand sales per month. All of the shops on this list are multiple 7-figure, 8-figure, or even multiple 8-figure shops. But I really can't stress this enough. This does not happen overnight, and most of these multi-million-dollar shops opened several years ago, and most importantly, they have thousands of listings posted. And that's what makes what's possible and what's realistic so interesting. If we compare this shop that's selling kid and toddler clothes that we just talked about to one of the more OG shops that's been doing it for years, they have hundreds of thousands of sales, bringing in multiple 7 figures. And this doesn't even count their second shop that also sells toddler clothes that's also brought in hundreds of thousands of sales and multiple 7 figures. A really key thing to notice here is that both of these shops have thousands of listings posted in them, and this one is still getting there. This is the exact model that I use to run my shops, and I've not even hit the 8-figure level like this seller has. In my case, I'm not even the best, I'm just in a unique situation. I can't tell you how to get to 8 figures yet, but I can show you how to get to 6 and 7. All I'm trying to say is I've definitely been able to achieve something great here, but I'm not even the best. When we look at these recent shops that are making $10,000 plus profit per month within their first year, that's also assuming that these shop owners only have the one shop. I've been able to get individual shops to a consistent $20,000 to $30,000 profit per month, but I've achieved even more success by having multiple shops. I don't have all of my eggs in one basket, and it's okay to have a few shops making $3,000 to $5,000 a month instead of one mega shop that's bringing in all of the revenue. Some of my shops just seem to cap out a little bit more around the 6-figure mark. And the reason I'm telling you this is because when I got started, I thought that I would find some silver bullet, that I would figure out some secret that would make me millions of dollars. But in reality, it was my third shop that finally hit 7 figures. Now, I'm definitely not telling you to go open multiple shops because the $5,000 to $10,000 per month in profit range should be doable with almost any print-on-demand shop. But what I am telling you is that once you do get to that $5,000 to $10,000 profit per month range, then you can think about opening up a new shop and scaling into that one as well. So while some of these shops have done multiple 8 figures in sales, and that's a level that I would love to get to, remember that for some sellers, and myself included, I didn't find that magic bullet. I've reached $20,000 to $30,000 a month in profit and even $50,000 a month in profit during the holiday season from a single shop, and some of my other shops only make a few $1,000s a month. The thing is, once you have a shop that's making even $3,000 to $5,000 a month, you can finally start to see what's possible, and it's so much easier to keep scaling that shop or open up a new one and test different products out. But you do have to keep going and really start to break through some of those barriers to start seeing what's actually possible. So all of that to say, I think reaching $3,000 to $5,000 a month in profit is very manageable, even for the most beginner, least experienced, least technical people out there. That's a level I truly believe almost anyone can get to. Then reaching $10,000 a month honestly kind of becomes inevitable if you're able to reach those first milestones. There's so much resistance when you first start out with your first shop and your first product designs and your first everything. It's so overwhelming. It doesn't feel like anything's going to make you money or that it's even possible. But the more that you treat it like a business and you push forward, you widen the gap between yourself and everyone who gives up, and that's ultimately what gets you ahead. With the amount of brand new shops that are hitting $10,000 a month in profit within their first 6 months to a year, the amount of shops that are reaching $5,000 a month in profit are a lot higher. And I think it's reasonable that if you committed to it, you could get there too. Now, getting to $10,000 a month with any business is probably difficult, but it's also difficult to get hired by a company that will pay you $10,000 a month. For example, to get paid $10,000 a month by a company, you have to provide them with a lot more than $10,000 a month in value because the business has to make a profit on you as the employee. So when you think about it that way, you're just increasing your own skill set and then selling it back to the market, and you're keeping the full $10,000 in profit yourself. So yes, it's unlikely that you'll make $10,000 a month with zero skills. But luckily, Etsy dropshipping is a high value skill that's worth well over $10,000 a month that can also be learned fairly easily. And by easily, I mean it's at least completely in your control. Just like the 7 and 8 figure shops that have thousands of listings, the more products that you make and post, the better you get and the more skilled you get, so the more you'll get paid. The only direct correlation that I've noticed is between the amount of listings that I've posted for sale and the amount of money that I've made. If you can't control anything else, making more listings will make you more money with this business model. This is because as you make more listings, you get better at making them and designing the product, and you'll have a larger net to cast in the Etsy algorithm to capture more sales, and it's the lowest cost way to test your product ideas out. $10,000 a month in profit is absolutely possible, as we've seen, but I always try and be transparent. So this is not something that's going to make you rich overnight, but maybe in 6 months. It takes real work, but it's definitely possible. So hopefully that makes the whole print-on-demand Etsy dropshipping business feel more like a business and something that you can practice and get better at. Whether you want to make $2,000 or $20,000 a month in profit, both are possible. It just comes down to if you're willing to get started and if you're willing to do the work to get there. If you're curious about how to make and post more listings, which is how you grow with this business, be sure to check out my print-on-demand video tutorial here on my channel, and I'll see you over there. And remember, it only takes one listing to change your life forever.